Hi everybody, it's Andrea over at Sewspire.com. We are back with episode 3 of our collaborative patchwork backpack design. That is a mouthful. So yesterday, you'll remember, we pieced together our 25 squares for the front and the back, and then we began quilting that. I finished quilting my panels last night. They turned out really pretty. I did a nice little, you can see it better from the back there, a nice little diamond pattern across there. And I just freehand quilted that on the machine. I used the narrowest stitch length because I felt like that over time with repeated washings that would hold up best. So I let you all vote yesterday on which pockets you would like to see, and the majority voice really was to incorporate as many pockets as possible. So that's what we're going to do. Today we're going to start with the hidden zipper pocket, which would be on the rear panel of the backpack, the part that would rest against your back. So we're going to install that today. So pick one of the panels that you would like towards the back, and I think I'm going to choose this one here for the back panel. And for this portion of the project, you're going to need an 18-inch zipper, which this is going to be a little big. It's going to be a little longer than your panel, but that's okay, because if you're careful, you can go ahead and stitch through this zipper and it won't be an issue at all. So we'll need the 18-inch zipper, and I just chose a navy blue YKK zipper with a nice big pull there. And then you're going to need a quilted panel of fabric which measures 6 inches tall by 18 inches wide, and that is the length of the zipper there. And what I did is just put a piece of batting on the back and then quilt 4 lines down that so that it coordinates with the rest of the pack. Then you're also going to need a large rectangle of cotton fabric which measures 30 inches long by 15 inches wide. We're going to set that aside for a few minutes here. And to begin, you're going to take this quilted smaller rectangle and you're going to attach that to the top of the zipper. So I'm going to move some of these things out of the way so you can see how that works. Alright, so I have my zipper right side facing up here, and this would be the top of the zipper, and I'm going to position the panel along that top edge. You can put some pins in it if you need, and I'm just going to stitch that zipper in place. So that's what you see on the other side. And then I'm stitching down this top. And I did use a reverse stitch at the beginning, and I will use a reverse stitch at the end. Zipper has been attached to the top part of that panel, so if you flipped it up, that's what it would look like. And now I want to take got the beautiful quilted panel, and I want to attach that to the other side of the zipper in the same fashion. And I'm going to go ahead and pin it in place. That's what it looks like on the back, and then if I flipped it over, you could see that the zipper's in between there. I'm actually going to turn that over so I can see where these pins are. Okay, so now I've enclosed that zipper or encased it between the 6-inch piece and the beautiful quilted panel. And I want to now create the pocket on the back side of that, which would be when you unzipped it, what you would put your contents into. So that requires that bigger rectangle that we created, and I'm going to take the top of that, which is 15 inches wide, and position it at the top of the zipper, and I'm just going to center it on this panel. Just make sure that you're over the top of that zipper, okay? And then put a couple pins in there. And then we want to just put that right up on the machine and start at the beginning of the panel. So you're not quite touching that new piece of fabric yet, but start at the edge of the panel because this stitching is going to show up on the other side, so we want it nice and tidy. You will reverse stitch, and you're just going to go all the way to the end and then reverse stitch at the end. Okay, now I have attached the top of that fabric, and now I need to fold that and attach the bottom to the bottom of that zipper. So I'm going to bring this out here so you can see what that really looks like. Okay, so right now we have this panel is facing with the quilted side up. I've attached the larger part of this rectangle to the just above where that zipper is, and now I need to fold that pretty sides facing and attach the bottom piece just below that zipper line. Okay, so hopefully you can visualize that this then becomes the pocket for the zipper. So I'm just going to pin that in place. And then head on over there and stitch a straight line down, encasing that zipper with this little pocket loop. Truly like a little loop, a little slip on the back of this. or a little flap. Can you see that? Okay, so that's what the back looks like. And then this is what the front looks like. So I could open this up right now and you would see that the zipper pocket is taking shape. There's just obviously one, tiny problem there. The sides are open. So what we're going to do is stitch each side closed like that. So I'm just going to go down each side and reverse stitch at the beginning of the end, and as you approach the zipper you won't be able to get all the way up to the zipper, and that's fine. Just get as close as you can without distorting the fabric, and then reverse stitch. So I've closed up one side of my pocket. Now I just need to close up the other side. From the front, I should be able to unzip that and then put my hands in there and feel like I actually have a pocket that I can put things in. And from the back side, it looks like that. Okay, so now the zipper, the way that this is currently installed is not terribly attractive. You just wouldn't want this kind of crooked zipper hanging out on the backpack. So we're going to hide it. And the way that you do that is just to, you're going to first want to get your zipper pull kind of in the middle there. And go ahead and pin that zipper in place there. If it were zip closed, it would stay in place, but just go ahead and put a pin there just to hold that so that it doesn't shift at all on you. And then take this top panel about an inch, maybe an inch and a half, and just fold that down, creating a little fold over the top of that zipper just to hide it. And put a pin on each end there. Okay, so then if you look up in there, you can see your zipper. You would just reach that fold back and you can see your zipper and use that pocket. Reach in there, no problem. Alright, now you're not going to stitch that down because then you would close off the zipper and it would be useless. But what you are going to do is stitch on this side about an inch and a half in. Just stitch a line straight up there that's going to then tack this fold down. Okay, so the only thing that you really have to keep in mind is you can stitch through the zipper part, especially since you're coming in an inch, but you cannot stitch through that zipper pull. So make sure that that is pulled off towards the center, and be aware of where those pins are that you put on the inside. And you can probably even take those out since you have these side ones. And go ahead and stitch about an inch and a half in and tack that fold down on either side. See, I stitched right through that zipper, no problem. I went up approximately an inch and a half, and then I reverse stitched all the way back down to make that a really strong hold. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So now I have this totally encased zipper pocket, which looks pretty good. You would probably not even really know that there was a pocket in there. Show you that. So you would look up there. Let me take out that pin. You would look in there and you would see the zipper pull, which you can even, as part of one of the finishing details, you could tie a little ribbon on that. And so then you can just zip that right up and it's closed. You won't feel any hardware or anything against your back because this would be pressed against your back. And there is a really deep, big pocket in there that you could put all your valuables in. Alright, so that's what it looks like so far. So this is going to be the back panel of the backpack, and we have now officially incorporated our hidden zipper pocket. And so you all voted that you did want to see all of the pockets. So tomorrow we will work with the front panel and we will install the two-way divided pocket. Since this pocket here is big and, you know, is pretty much a big open pocket, I think it would be nice to have the two-way divided pocket. If you were one of the folks that voted that you wish that the front pocket was just a full pocket, you just won't divide yours. So that's easy and versatile. So I will be back tomorrow. We'll work on those two front pockets. And then in the video after that, we're going to put on our side pockets for the water bottles. So until then, please know the creative genius in me salutes the creative genius in you. See you tomorrow.